Before opening the brake fluid reservoir, thoroughly clean the top side so no dirt or debris falls in when opening it. Then take the cap off and cover the surrounding area with rags or old towels. Remember, brake fluid is corrosive and will damage your paint if you spill it. Then take your pump or large syringe and extract all of the old brake fluid from the reservoir. Try to get as much out of there as possible, along with the dirt or gunk that might have accumulated at the bottom. It's very important to get this last bit out, as this is the lowest point where all the gunk accumulates. So get the tube in there until it hits the bottom and extract it. Unless your car is really old, your brake fluid reservoir will be divided in two parts. One half for the front brakes and one half for the rear brakes. So don't forget to empty the other side as well. With the old fluid removed, first fill it back up with new brake fluid so you don't pull air into the brake lines while bleeding the brakes. If you have difficulty seeing the fluid level, place a flashlight behind the reservoir. This will make it easier to see where the fluid is at. Then wipe off any fluid you might have spilled and close it back up so the brake fluid doesn't get exposed to the humid air and absorb moisture. Now locate the bleeder valve on your brakes. It's going to be located on the inside of your wheels at either the top of the drum brake or, if your car has brake calipers, at the top of those. Now it's time to bleed your brakes in the order we mentioned before, starting with the furthest from the brake fluid reservoir. Replacing the fluid in the reservoir alone is not enough. You also need to flush the old fluid out of your brake lines. Take the protective cap off the bleeder valve and put a wrench on it. You can use a special adapter to fit a tube or just put a correct size tube on directly. Then have someone sit in the car ready to press the brake when you say so. Tell the other person to press the brake while you're opening the bleeder valve. Let some fluid pass through and close the valve again before you tell the other person to release the pedal. Keep doing this until the fluid is nice and clear and no air bubbles come out. This brake caliper was recently replaced, which is why the fluid looked nice from the beginning. But when you look at this old drum brake, for example, you can clearly see a big difference in color between the old and new fluid. Remember to frequently check your brake fluid reservoir so it doesn't run dry or you'll be pushing air in your brake lines. When you see nice and clear fluid after bleeding the brakes for about 10 to 20 times, depending on how long the brake line is, close it back up again. Then disconnect the tube and clean everything off with brake cleaner. Because remember, brake fluid is corrosive and will damage paint and corrode metal. And don't forget to clean your wheels below the brakes. Often brake fluid leaks on there and will damage the paint if you don't clean it. We like to spray some WD-40 in the protective cap so it protects better against corrosion. With everything installed and clean, the only thing left to do now is fill the brake fluid reservoir back up again. So grab the correct type of brake fluid compatible with the old fluid and fill it to the full indication.